Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. So today I am building a Christmas market, and this build is a little bit different to my normal builds because normally my builds tell a story. I will do a speed build and then the voiceover will be me just explaining like the story of the people who live here. Obviously this is not a residential lot, this is a public space. I've actually listed it as generic because I wasn't sure what it was meant to be. Like, it's shops, but it's not really shops. So it's just listed as generic. But since there is no storyline for this build, I've decided that I will share my inspiration for each different section of the build. I have started off by building the actual market huts, and I've built two different sizes. I noticed when you go to markets that you tend to have like little skinny ones, like the one that I'm making now, which is for like one shop, or you'll have like double width ones for like two different retailers or one big retailer. Now, I actually made the bigger one, which is the size I'm building now, with the intent that there'll be like one shop on the left of the middle pillar and one shop on the right. However, I didn't do that in my build at all. Like, every different vendor had their own store. Now, the inspiration for these is just every single generic Christmas market. I live in the UK and this is what most of them look like. I did go on Pinterest and have a look at the German Christmas markets because I think that's where we take a lot of our inspiration from in the UK. And they were all just looking very much the same. So the layout of the market is actually inspired by mainly two different things. So one is, I think it's Dresden in Germany, their Christmas market, where it's kind of inside a square and you have these really big, tall, I think they're like 6 or 7 stories buildings, but they're like really flat. If you know, you know, they're just like surrounding it, but I decided that I wasn't going to spend ages building those surrounding buildings, which is why I built it on this lot. This lot is found in the world of Ravenwood, which we got with the Life and Death expansion pack, by the way, if anyone was curious. But yeah, so it's part inspired by Dresden in Germany and also inspired by Manchester. So I'm from near Manchester, and Manchester Christmas markets, I really don't like the way they do it, but it's very spread out. Like, the markets are just kind of all around the city centre, but the food place in particular is kept all in one section. And there's part of it which is on a raised platform. It might all be on a raised platform, but there's definitely part of it that's on a raised platform. And I think they do this because of licensing laws, because they sell alcohol, because when we went, they wouldn't let me out with my mulled wine. So that's why I've made that little raised platform, and that is where the food stalls and the bar is. So if you are like me and you are from the UK, you will probably really confused about what I'm building right now. I had never seen this before, but there's something that they do in I think it might be German Christmas markets, or it might just be the Frankfurt Christmas markets, but it's called a toy pyramid, or a pyramid of light, or a Christmas pyramid. And essentially there's shops at the bottom, and then there's these towers that go up, and inside those towers there's, I think it's more like nativity set sort of things, but I just put like toys and stuff in. And then right at the top is a wind turbine propeller sort of thing. It looks kind of like a windmill, but on the side. I'll put a picture in. But that is what I have built. If you saw right at the top, I used a ceiling fan, and then in live mode it actually spins like it does in the Christmas markets, which is really cool. And I know that it is definitely not accurate because 1, it is way too big, and 2, it's got the wrong things inside. But I like the way it looks, I like the way it works, and it needed to fill up this big space because I didn't just want all of the same markets over and over again. So I wanted to fill that empty space with the whole pyramid thing. I also add on these candles. I tried for so long to find a good alternative to the candles, but honestly, that was the best I could come up with. Now, moving away from Germany and back to the UK is the bar area. This is definitely inspired by the Manchester Christmas Markets bar. Who knows, maybe it's the same everywhere. Probably, because it's just a bar, like how different can they be? I just added in the back bars, which I love, and then I overlapped them a little bit. I think it looks okay. I think it looks cohesive. But the bars in the Christmas markets tend to be like really long and just the same. I've made the little coffee stand over at the side because the bars do hot drinks as well as the alcoholic drinks. And then I've added in these little mini fridge. There's just like a perfect size for them in these back bars. Now with all the stalls, I have made sure to decorate them a little bit differently so it's not super repetitive. My thinking is that the stall owners actually gets to decide how it's decorated, so they are a bit different, they are unique. I don't think any of them are decorated exactly the same, which I really like, but I've kind of gone in first and done the decorations, and then I go back afterwards and actually put in the markets. I've also added a seating area, again inspired by Manchester Christmas Market. They had all of these benches, and then the most wobbly ass little bar stool tables you could imagine, because they put the markets on these like click in together plastic pieces, so it's quite an uneven surface anyway, and it's also a bit springy, and then they just stick on a really high table, really high chair, and me and my sister were eating our like bao buns and stuff, trying not to fall off these chairs. But you know, I added it into my Sims as well. If I have to suffer, so do they. So at this point I'm going in and like sorting out the environment. I wanted it to look like normally it's just a regular market square, so this darker grey colour is like actually road, and this is where the cars would go. So again, that's inspired by the Dresden Christmas market, because that's what I think is going on. Obviously from the picture I cannot see what it was like beforehand, but it looks like there's a surrounding road, like a ring road, and then where it used to be like your smaller roads and your little footpath areas, it is now the market. So that is what I have done, and then I've gone in and added in the public bins. We've got like 3 different types of public bins. We've got the big bins, which is where everyone empties, like all the shops empty their bin into. We've got the metal green bins, which are the public ones which are already there, and then I've got the wooden bins, which I think have been put in with the Christmas market. I then spent absolutely ages in the debug menu trying to find the tree cages, and oh, I love it. I love the tree cages. It's just such a inner city thing. I hope all countries do this, but everywhere in the UK we just have these little tree cages and a tree inside them, so even if there's paths everywhere, you can still have a tree. I just finish it up with a few different bits of clutter, like the electricity boxes, some more tables and chairs, a phone booth, a little food van, some street lights, a photo booth, because every Christmas market needs a Christmas photo booth. £6, by the way, the Manchester Market one was, and you only got 1 copy, and if you wanted a digital download, you had to pay more for the digital download. Rip off. Anyway, I digress. I just keep on putting more lights in because Christmas markets have to look super cute at night. That is the rule. Since it gets dark at literally 4 PM now, it's horrible. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, making it all really cute. And then I just finish off the exterior area by adding in stickers and decorations to the back of the buildings, just to make them look a little bit more interesting and stop us from just having blank walls everywhere. I also spent a while going through, I think, the live edit menu, finding all of these different signs from like various expansion packs so that I could have different signs outside of different shops. I don't actually think you have these A-boards in the Christmas markets, but I thought it just added to it. These kind of like arrow street signs are more like what we have at the Christmas markets, but they didn't fit most of the buildings, so I didn't use them all that much. So when I was actually making the buildings, I had to save my sanity a little bit, because there is a lot of different stalls here, and then to manually place every single item in every single stall, very tedious. So I went and found some like little shop tables from like the Get to Work expansion pack. I think like there's the Thrifty store. I think that's from University. I can't remember those. But I just went and got some pre-made items rather than actually stocking every single shelf myself. Maybe that's a little bit lazy, but the footage already for this video was 10 hours. Now to save you, I'm not going to show me placing every single item. I'm going to go onto each stall and kind of do a cut and show the finished piece, just like that. I started working on the food area because that was definitely the easiest part. So I had the main bar, and then I have like a hot drink stand, a hot food stand, a different hot food stand. I've not been very specific with these stands. They're quite generic, but they do have a few different things. Like that last stand has ice cream machines, which makes it a little bit different. Onto the actual shops, so it's a little bit more interesting. I'm just going to start off by showing you most of the process. So this is the crochet shop. So I literally just went on the Nifty Knitting Pack and just pulled out all of the items that I could find, and it's basically someone selling all of their crochet. So you've got just like the toys, the potted plants. I put some books there, so the like how to crochet books. So this is kind of what I'm doing for every single stall. Obviously, stalls have repeats of the same item, so it can get quite boring to repeat things again and again, but the final product actually looks pretty cool. Like when you have the shelves stocked with all of the same item, it really looks cool. So that is why I cut out most of the footage, because it's boring, but then I'll just show you the end, because the end is really cool. In every one of the stalls I have made, there are stairs up to the door, a till, and a bin. I think that's what's necessary for every single shop. All of the food shops also have a bigger bin and a sink for hygiene purposes. So this is an old-fashioned alcohol shop. I assume it sells like festive whiskies and things like that. I then made a plant shop which specialises in cute plant pots, because I thought that it would be a bit silly for a Christmas market to just have regular plants, but you know, this could be a Christmas gifting sort of thing. You know, you buy cute little plant pots for people for Christmas. You wouldn't necessarily just buy them a regular plant. I've also made what I'm thinking is kind of like a comic book stall, because we've got all of these books and then we've got the posters at the back. So it's either like a movie stall or a comic book stall. I also included a shoe stall, which I don't think is very Christmas markety, but I had the stuff to be able to make it, so I definitely had to make it. Now, I did this cool thing with the modular shelves where I made it so they were like half the size. So I just essentially used the tool mod to do that, lifted it up, and then added all the other modular pieces because it just clips to it. I made this stall into like a little antique plate shop for those fine plates that only come out at Christmas. And then I also made a snow globe shop. Fun fact, those last 4 shops I made in one sitting and then just exited without saving. So I had to make them all over again. It was great, it was fantastic. And I made this cute little health drink shop, which I loved, and then I also didn't save that and just completely forgot about it. So when I reloaded and was like, oh, better start from where I left off, it just became a gem shop, which I don't like as much. So let me know which one of those 2 shops was your favourite. Moving swiftly on, we have a decorative Christmas tree shop, which I took these 3 different types of Christmas trees and scaled them down to be like tiny weeny little Christmas trees, just like shelves and stuff. I think it actually looks really cute. It's one of my favourite shops. I obviously had to make a My Sims shops because we have all of these little figurines. There's so many different ones. I actually didn't have enough shelves to do them all, but I have got at least one of each of the different figurines. And now we're on the home stretch because I'm onto the Octagon building with the 8 different shops. Actually, 7 different shops, because one of them has been converted into like the entrance, because otherwise I couldn't get the shop workers to be able to go onto the stalls. So we've got a handmade candle shop, which also sells things that you can use to make your own candles. We've got the Sugar Skull shop, a Freezer Bunny shop sporting all of the Freezer Bunnies that I collected during the Reaper Reward events, a soft toy plushie shop, which is really, really cute. This kind of like tea and cake shop, I imagine these are like handmade long life Christmas cakes, and then teas that go with them perfectly. And then this octopus shop, I have no idea what these are, but there was different ones of them, so it's like a collectible shop. And then finally, a fish store, because I was so done with placing individual items that I wanted to just pop down some big items and call it a day. I did also add a fishing sign for that, just to be like, oh, this is the fishing shop, but I didn't realise that it adds fish. So you might have seen at the very beginning in some of the videos, there's just fish swimming about. I finished up the build by adding a little tent area where people can go and get their skates for the ice skating rink, and that completes the Christmas market build. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and let me know what Christmas market stall you would have done.